They stood aghast when they saw the masts of a black treeless land, where fire rolled molten between the cracks, with slag where there should be sand. "I don't much like the look of this," said Brendan to the crew. "There's a place I'd like to miss, but the way we're going with this wind blowing is surely where we're due." They tore towards the steaming shore, as forges billowed and bellows blew thunder's roar, hammers on anvils crashed. Flaming arms opened and a raging fiend stood forth, this figure full of dark and fire, a vision dire, howled for all his worth, and as he thrashed his cohorts grew from burning ash. The crew stood appalled and Brendan called, "Raise more sail and row, men, summon higher power for the mighty strength we'll need for sure at this crucial hour." Sailors prayed for the eternal grace that would take them past this infernal place where smiths of fury formed. No moulders of gold or copper here. They didn't toil with steel. Fear was all that these shams cast, and men saw this for real. The crew pulled hard on rope and wood, worked tiller, sail and oar. They tacked at last and managed to pass, but barely a yard from the shore. The fiend screamed his fury at Brendan of the few, that Ben and Bray were blazing, caused the men to pray anew, and the Father made the Saviour sign to all four winds, so they'd reign benign and kind to a righteous crew. A rock flew red from the islander's hand, roared huge through the sky. It sped towards them flaming, but missed, and where it fell the water hissed and bubbled, troubled and boiled. Yet the craft just sailed on by. All the creatures featured on this land of smoke and fire grabbed lumps of burning slag and hurled them from the pyre. Flames poured from this furious place. The men on board looked back. Timber shook, they shivered just to hear the howling pack. And even out of sight, the stench and cries flowed through the skies. Their stomachs churning with the smell of burning, crewmen rowed all night. Through these flaming seas they raced with Brendan at the helm. Beware, my friends, and hold the pace, for we're in the realms of hell. Soon a cloud-capped land appeared, dark and terrible, waiting as waves lapped its coal black cliffs and the curragh came up near. The last of the latecomers, one of the three, leapt over the prow and surged through the sea, crying, "I'm torn from you, Father, I can't return, for demons call my name." With these words, the ones he spoke of circled him in flames. They ripped his flesh and chawed the bones as they dragged him screaming towards his home. The curragh turned as devils burned. Brendan mourned, "Alas for you, my son, it's true, and surely now it's known that the world goes ever round, so you reap as you have sown." The craft moved past as a loud crack made the men look back, and the hill spilled flames from crest to cliff that tumbled to the shore. The crew would wail, for when the north wind grew and filled the sails, Satan had a guest. These men blessed the day they left volcanoes far away, and when they saw the line, called it fine and traced the sacred quest. Excuse me. On a rock beyond these seas sits a wretched soul. On holy days it's here he stays as payment for his role. Waves wash his beaten back, and a robe tied near is never a shelter or shade, but lashes his face like a wet sack as a gift from a friend he once made. One day he heard a human voice, then he saw this crew. As waves lay still, they steered in near, and the light that shone around them gave him hope for something new. Brendan asked him, "What's your name? Why do we find you so?" The man replied, "I'm Caiaphas's guide. I'm Judas, don't you know?" With this rock, as a working youth, I fixed a riven road, and the robe that wraps my face I gave a leper once as he passed my old abode. The robe is tied to iron forks I gave the temple folk, but none of these were mine to give. That's why I bear this yoke. Yet these times I treasure, this pleasure near bliss, where I usually dwell, fear truly exists, and pain is the demon's game. They laughed on the day your friend came our way and screamed through the smoking foam. I was there in the hill of flames. See, I pay for my shame, as a place in that hell is my home. Because one time I walked on the side of light, its maker lets me stay here till night, and in days like so few, I'm blessed once anew. Maybe if such as yourself is there, you'll ask the one now if this night I'd be spared, and you might pray for the sheared while I sit here. So it could be that even those demons would dare to wait till dawn to torture and tear, while Lucifer seeds in his furious lair and brews these fusions of fear. The crew raised their eyes from this man on a stone. As they glanced around, some of them groaned, many cried, for devils danced on every wave and leered from darkened sky. I call as the servant of all living things, of liberty, light and the word. Let the mighty one's will be done in the mill. We'll have to rest of the absurd, and have a care, ye demons, there, for truth does sometimes rise. Its maker lets its sinner rest, so stay back now, be wise. Brendan's prayer rang through the air and lashed the devil's back, as good words salved each cowled prow. The song repelled the pack. These hounds of hell sank through dark clouds and howled, while the righteous claimed the night. The brothers prayed for souls waylaid, yet devil spawn returned, waiting now with hate to burn as dawn unveiled the light. While seekers sailed, the demons wailed. They cursed the extra whips that flailed and lashed their sin-dyed hides. It seems their master nailed them faster and bounced each skull on bone, for they'd failed to seat the sinner at the foot of Satan's throne. The judge has passed the sentence and Judas pays his due. Don't think to pain him more because the devil punished you. Mind this, said Brendan, don't make me vexed, for the Lord guards my wake, and if I am riled, your sire is next to feel his vile bones break.